So I wanted to talk about the flock cameras that seem to be proliferating all over the area at a faster clip than ever. Remember the whole debate about the license plate readers in major intersections? It was only supposed to be in major intersections and only supposed to read our license plates and then be deleted after a certain period of time. I think it was 30 days. And these license plate readers were only to apprehend criminals such as those with outstanding warrants or car thieves. And these cameras were supposed to aid police in locating these criminals so that the police could apprehend them at a faster pace than if these cameras did not exist. So fast forward to now, we're hearing that these flock cameras are being used for other purposes as well, including possibly stalking people. If there's an abuse by certain law enforcement, the data is possibly being sold to agencies such as Homeland Security, or it could be sold to private companies such as insurance companies. Who knows? But apparently, according to my husband, who found, he discovered a flock camera in an intersection where he frequents, he found out that this flock camera was installed around 2020, but he just noticed it now. So he looked into it a little more and found that in the same community, there's several other flock cameras in various locations, and they're not really in major intersections. They're throughout the community. Wow, little do we know. But they seem to be proliferating just like the speed cameras. But he found out also, again, about the data policies that each community must define. And if they don't define a data policy, then we really don't know what happens to this information. And the other thing is that the taxpayers pay for these cameras to be installed, and I am not aware of any notices received when these cameras were being installed. I mean, I think I heard a little bit about the license plate readers by reading the Plain Dealer back in 2018, 2019. But as far as all the flock cameras flocking in the community, I don't recall any public notice about these cameras. So my husband said that he's going to bring this up at the next city meeting to see what is said, and also what is happening to our data, if there's a policy for the community, or if it's anything goes, if our information's being deleted, if it's not, what's going on. So that's what's happening with Flock. So this is the Flock website. You get a vehicle description search, partial or missing plate investigations, nationwide agency network. Sounds like this is part of the growing police state infrastructure. So not only do we have Flock, we also have this technology that I was not aware of. It's called Signal Trace. It's by Leonardo. And if you think Flock is intrusive, Well, you're about to find out that flock is nothing compared to this. So, according to the Leonardo Signal Trace website, you have an integrated signal intelligence system. Develop leads from consumer electronic devices. ELSAG Signal Trace is a groundbreaking software system for law enforcement designed to identify groups of consumer electronic devices that routinely travel together, even when a license plate number is not known. This system integrates seamlessly with the ELSAG Enterprise Operations Center, a highly advanced data management and analysis software. Electronic devices such as fitness trackers, smartwatches, RFID tags, and mobile phones emit signals into the air. Signal Trace creates an electronic fingerprint for groups of the signals that the system determines are frequently emitted together. These electronic fingerprints provide insights law enforcement can use in real-time policing and investigations. So I'm kind of starting to think about the movie Minority Report right now. So you have these different devices then linking to a particular person. So whether it's completely accurate or not, the computer is going to say, hey, Joe Brown from down the street initiated a certain crime, even though Joe Brown might not be the perpetrator. So the system uses strategically placed sensors to collect electronic communication patterns and identities of consumer electronics to create an additional data set to enhance the records captured by LPR cameras in the area. So this can be connected to a flock camera. This is just a sensor, it looks like. ELSAG Signal Trace, formerly ELC Plus, product features. Identifies the movement of electronic devices and vehicles. Stores data on the Signal Trace server where it can be queried and analyzed to aid investigations. So this data is stored how long? It could be indefinitely. Respects individual privacy rights, does not decrypt or read content from devices. Okay, I don't fully believe that. Allows law enforcement to recognize a specific vehicle included in an electronic signature without the license plate number. Reveals signatures frequently traveling together, which can lead to the discovery of convoys and other movement and travel patterns. So an easy way to create more profiles on people and groups. Signal Trace is effective in off-road areas such as in subways and malls. So this is not just for vehicles. Performs with or without license plate readers at every collection site, allowing for a wider coverage area while keeping deployment costs down. How it works. As the devices emit signals, Signal Trace sites capture and correlate them together along with LPR data if present. The data collected shows what groups of devices are traveling together. Algorithms can determine which specific mixes of devices are predictively moving together. That device or that specific mix of devices linked by common timestamps and locations are described as an electronic fingerprint and can help develop leads that aid investigations. For example, while 70 cars and 100 may contain iPhones, only one will have an iPhone 13 RAV2, an Audi radio, a pair of Bose headphones, a Garmin sports watch, a key finder, and the license plate ABC, blah, blah, blah. The collection of data represented by these specific things is an electronic signature. Then it claims technology that respects the rights of individuals, does not infringe on the rights of individuals, even though it's scanning everybody's information. So, yeah, it is infringing because it's taking all your Bluetooth data. It captures device signals, but does not decrypt or read the contents of the devices or their communications. Yeah, maybe that could be the case today, but then tomorrow they might discover some problem that needs to be solved, and oh my God, we gotta decrypt this. And then it says, in the same way, license plate readers capture plate numbers from vehicles, not driver information. Well, that's so easy to link the two. The signal trace system simply stores data until a specific request is made of the system by an investigator. It allows an electronic signature to be alerted on once it has been identified in the process of an investigation, and only in the case where a crime occurred. Well, any investigator can define somebody as creating a crime. What if somebody angers a person in these positions and, a crime can be made up for all I know? I don't see how that protects the rights of just regular people. ELSAG Enterprise Operations Software benefits strict data security, detailed data archiving. All data collected may be uploaded to the EOC server and archived for future queries and analysis. I'm sure they will archive everything. So, targeted LPR technologies includes fixed, mobile, solar-powered, and video camera LPR solutions. So we have ELSAG Mobile Plate Hunter, ELSAG Fixed Plate. You have Solar Street Sentry, radar trailers, Video Plate Hunter, Covert Solutions, and of course, they don't make this information public because they don't want the criminal to find out where these devices reside. But they're installed with our tax dollars and they're reading the information of everybody. Yet we're told that we are not supposed to know where these are located. And then here's an article about this technology. Don't like car license plate readers invading your privacy? It's about to get a lot worse. Leonardo Signal Trace links license plate data with RFID, Bluetooth, and device identifiers to build a trackable electronic fingerprint, and this was published June 17th this year. A company called Leonardo already develops and sells automatic license plate readers. These are cameras that visually see your vehicle as it drives by, recording your plate for any number of reasons, though probably because you ran a red light or missed a stop sign. Now it seems the company has plans to go a little further. It's not an optical upgrade, though. These are plans to add sensors to its cameras in the form of an advanced signal intelligence system. As reported by 404 Media, ELSAG signal trace is a system that sweeps up unique identifiers of electronic devices that give off signals. The data is to track or identify specific devices in passengers in cars. You probably see where this is going. Effectively, the signal trace technology is set to move ALPR cameras from just car tracking to people tracking devices. Leonardo says that the system integrates seamlessly with the ELSAG Enterprise Operations Center, our standard data management and analysis software. According to the product sheet, signal trace bridges license plate recognition data with sensor capture device identifiers such as those from mobile phones, Bluetooth wearables, and vehicle systems to create a unique, trackable electronic fingerprint for investigative use. Police state included in the kinds of signal trace can pull into fingerprint are things like RFID tags and key cards and pet microchips. That includes devices with Bluetooth such as wireless headphones, fitness trackers, cell phones, laptops, or tablets. Even components of a car that gives off signals like the tire pressure sensors, infotainment systems, and vehicle hotspots could be monitored, logged, and tied to a specific vehicle with a specific registration. When multiple devices consistently move together with a vehicle, signal trace algorithms link them to that vehicle's license plate and timestamp location data. This correlation provides investigators with another layer of actionable intelligence, even if a suspect changes or removes a plate, the sheet reads. But it's not just targeting individuals suspected of committing a crime. It's every car that passes. That's the key. It's every car that passes. I thought there was a Fourth Amendment. This is basically unreasonable searches, searches and seizures of our privacy. The ALPR and signal trace technology stores device and correlation data securely in the ELC Enterprise Operations Center for future queries and analysis. Via 404 media and according to procurement records maintained by the Transparency website widely reported, Leonardo sells ALPR cameras and communications equipment to law enforcement, border security, and other government agencies. Leonardo's U.S. firms has contracts with the U.S. Special Operations Command and the General Services Administration. As far as we can tell, Leonardo U.S. Cyber and Security Solutions is one of the branches of the massive aerospace defense and security company Leonardo SPA, headquartered in Rome, Italy. So this article is also in Car Buzz. It's the same article. And so this is the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, homes, papers, and effect against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Well, it's being infringed upon because every time we drive past one of these sensors, our devices are being read, our license plate is being recorded, and this data is being stored, perhaps indefinitely, for all I know. So I did an AI search on the Fourth Amendment. No unreasonable searches. Police can't search your body, home, papers, or belongings without a good reason or legal rule, but they're allowing computers to search our body, home, our vehicle. Some people actually live in their vehicles, so their vehicle's their home. Warrant needs to get a search warrant. Officers must show a judge real proof called probable cause. And then common uses, privacy rights. It gives people a reasonable expectation of privacy in public and private spaces. Well, that's being infringed upon. The police state is growing and growing and growing, and that's why do you think there's so many data centers being constructed? They're constructing the digital prison. So this is a website created by the Flock. The Flock is a criminal terrorist organization, according to the CEO of Flock, apparently. So I'm going to use this criminal website to view the map of the Flock cameras installed in the country. And as you can see, the West Coast has a lot of them, but the majority of the Flock cameras are on the eastern half of the country. So I'm going to zoom into Ohio, the Cleveland area, and focus on the east side. So you see a whole cluster of Flock cameras here. Let's see what this is. So it's just west of Little Italy. So this is Mayfield Road. There's a whole cluster of cameras here. Mayfield. Looks like we have 2, 4, 6, 8 cameras, and they're facing different directions. So I'm clicking on one of them. So this is on the intersection of Euclid Avenue and Mayfield Road in Cleveland. It's ALPR surveillance. Doesn't really say if it's a Flock camera per se, but it's a surveillance camera of some sort. So this is Little Italy, and then this is going east on Mayfield. So looks like it includes some residents. And it's going through Lyndhurst, Mayfield. And then this is 271, and east of 271, you have a lot of shopping in this area. And then this is Som Center Road, going south on Som Center Road. There's a Flock camera here. That's not a major intersection. Then this is the cemetery. Then this is Gates Mills. So right on the circle, there's a Flock camera. And then Gates Mills, this is definitely a residential area. So I wonder if, even though they say these cameras are ostensibly license plate readers, do these cameras record people mowing their lawn? These are residences. Does the flock camera record people walking their dogs? This is really a semi-rural area. This is Gates Mills. So this is Old Mill Road. It's pretty rural. You got a flock camera there. You have more flock cameras on Mayfield Road. Then I'm going, let's see. This is Cedar Road. There's flock cameras by the shopping mall, Beechwood Mall, Acacia. Talk about a police state. We're all going to be in a digital prison within probably 10 years, 5-10 years, the way it's going. And it's happening right in our faces. So this is Fairmont. There's a flock camera just east of the expressway. This is Beechwood. Got a flock camera on Shaker off of Brainerd. You got 2 flock cameras on Woodland Road, Pepper Pike. So this is Pepper Pike, and then this cluster of cameras is located on Woodland Road in Richmond. Then you have a whole cluster of flock cameras on Cedar Road. A gazillion here, 4 facing every direction. Record all your information and your license plate. So this is Shaker Heights, and then this is the large cemetery. So this is Green Road and Chagrin. Then you have Warrensville Center Road and Chagrin, and then you have the shopping area. Just collect all the data. Surveil. Then this is, I think, a cluster of healthcare areas, healthcare businesses and rehab centers and senior housing, I think, in this area. And you got more cameras over here. Just everywhere. Just insane. Then they kind of fall off the radar a little bit here in Geauga County. But then if you go into Mentor, there's a whole bunch of them. Though not as many as Cleveland. And you have some clusters here. This is probably Chardon. And there's a whole cluster here, Youngstown. Probably Akron or Canton. Columbus. No wonder they're constructing all these data centers. Just a whole digital prison just being erected right around us with our tax dollars and with taxes that keep going up. We're just taxing ourselves into a digital prison. And in time, they'll have the CBDC. So they'll have us completely trapped in a prison. Because once they get the CBDC, then they can shut off our ways of buying and selling. They could just shut off everything, just like they shut off the banks in Canada with the truckers' protest. And I see the CBDC coming in probably the next 10 years. So they'll have the social credit score. They'll have ways to track our every move. They'll probably, instead of having police, they'll have drones peering into our windows. They'll probably require cameras in our homes. I mean, they already have cameras. People put cameras in their homes voluntarily. So it's going to be interesting the next 5-10 years. And by the time people wake up, it's going to be too late. So this is all the digital prison apparatus that's being constructed little by little. So hope people wake up. And a lot of the information I found out about this subject is from the Car Coach reports created by Lauren Fix, along with other podcasters, but she's the main one that I've learned about this information, this technology. So she has quite a few videos. She has several on the subject, and they're within the last couple months. So she's got one, flock cameras, kill switches, and this kill switch thing is another subject that needs to be discussed at some point, but you can find information by visiting this channel. But the kill switches is part of the technology that's mandated to start with 2027 model year vehicles, and is supposed to prevent impaired drivers from switching on their vehicle. But I think this goes well beyond impaired drivers, and it's more about controls. So it's a whole different subject, and I invite people to do their own research about this. There's plenty of podcasts about it on YouTube. So that's coming soon to your 2027 model year vehicle. And based on this technology, I foresee used cars is surging in value because a lot of people are starting to wake up and they don't want these vehicles. So just scrolling down this list, she has we fought flock cameras in one. I don't think so. Then let's see, they call us terrorists for exposing their surveillance cameras. That's talking about flock. License plate cameras just got a terrifying upgrade. This is where they're talking about this other technology, the Leonardo. And let's see. Those are the main ones. But I suggest that you look at this channel to learn more about this technology, because it's all over, it's in our faces, it's collecting our data. And I think the only thing you can do is talk to your local municipality and complain about it. Because I don't think that contacting the state or the federal people is going to do anything, because I think they're all compromised, or they're just puppets to the lobbies. I think by the time you get into state politics or federal politics, you're already compromised, you're already bought off. But you might have some luck with the local politicians. So if you are so inclined to learn more about these devices and this technology, then I suggest that you attend the city council meetings, you write letters to the editors. If you're really ambitious, maybe start a group with your local community. But me being the true cynic, I've noticed the last 5 years that no matter what you do, even at the local level, the politicians don't listen, because they're all being led by some other force or entity, lobbyist. They just don't listen to us anymore, and it just seems like that's really been brought to our attention since 2020, as if a switch was turned on and everybody's just led by something else. Go figure. But this is what's happening. So just do some research and you'll find out for yourself. So hopefully this provides you some information. Sorry, I'm pretty cynical, but my husband's going to be going to the city meetings. So if he can get somewhere with this, then maybe I will be less cynical. But if you find this content useful, please subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching. So this video has been re-recorded from a Blueberry flashback video. For some reason, these flashback videos, even though they've been exported to an MP4 file, the audio is not being transferred to YouTube. So if the video quality is a little less, then I apologize. And also, with the recording of this video, a storm just came through and you might have heard some thunder. But that's why this video might sound of a little less quality. So again, thanks for watching.